Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Beach. And this movie is directed by Danny Boyle, and it came out in 2000, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tilda Swinton, and I've never seen this movie before. And the only reason why it piqued my interest is because of the director. I like Danny Boyle. I love Train Spotting. I've seen Steve Jobs. I thought that was really good. Sunshine, which I thought was great, and now I'm onto this movie, and I thought this one was great as well. And before I get into my thoughts, I just wanted to mention this. After I watched the movie, I did a little research on it to see what other people thought about it, like generally speaking, and surprisingly, this movie was not very well received at the time. Like, people just don't seem to be enjoying this movie as much as I thought they would. Like, I don't know, like everything that I enjoyed about Danny Boyle's other movies, I found to be in this movie for the most part. And generally speaking, just people just found it to be really slow and uninteresting. I get it if you're just not connected to the characters or the story. Like, I can understand that. But I was attached to this movie, and personally, I found it to be pretty fast paced compared to a lot of movies that I've seen. Like, if I'm connected to something, it usually flies by for me, and I never once felt the runtime. I like the characters a lot, and there's some really interesting side characters that are thrown in that I think add to the movie a lot. And they're all very distinct and interesting and likable. The performances are also pretty fun for some of them, and that's also what helped out my experience. And I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was really good in the movie. Tilda Swinton, amazing as usual. I also enjoyed the music for the movie. I felt as though it had personality and added to the tone of the film that I was enjoying. And there are some stylistic choices in this movie that really stand out in the second half. And I do prefer the second half of this movie over the first half. Not that the first half is bad. Like, I think it's really solid and good. But what I'm going to remember this movie for is mostly just in the second half of the movie. And I also think it's a bit better put together in the second half than the first. And there are scenes in this movie that are genuinely intense, and not because something super dangerous is going to happen in every single scene. It's more or less like you don't know what's going to happen. And it's like you just feel uneasy. And that's really what I like. And I found it to be very successful in that regard. And this movie doesn't really waste any time. And each scene in this movie feels different from the scene that you had before. Like, it always feels like it's building to something else, and the story keeps moving and explores pretty much a lot more than you might expect from a movie like this. Like, you're probably expecting them not to get to the beach until, like, I don't know, halfway through the movie, and then you might think something dangerous is going to happen. No, they arrive at the beach like 20 to 30 minutes into the movie, and from there it just builds and explores everything that it can. And it's a very interesting world that this movie takes place in my opinion, at least. Not trying to spoil anything by saying any of those things. As far as issues go, there were some effects that didn't look all too great. Like the blood. Some of the blood in this movie, it just looked like red paint. That was a bit distracting. And there was a shark in this movie that looked kind of bad. Like, laughably bad to me. And yeah, there were some effects in this movie that I feel could have been better. And there are little bits of it that do feel dated, but most of it is pretty great, I feel. And overall, I just had a really great time with this movie, and I didn't really have a lot of issues consistently throughout the film. It was just a couple points where the effects were either a bit dated or didn't look very convincing to me. But overall, I thought this was great. I think it's a very underrated movie, and I would love to see this movie again. And I would highly recommend that you check it out. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give The Beach an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Beach, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Bad Times at the El Royale. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.